Welcome to the Kat Nelson Show. I'm the one and only Kat Nelson, MMA fighter out of Orlando, Florida. You can join me on my journey to becoming the baddest bantamweight fighter in the world by following me on social at KatNoy11. This episode is brought to you by Black Lab Organics, all natural and organic dog treats. Our goal at Black Lab Organics is to create CBD-infused dog treats with real ingredients, because we believe that dogs deserve better. Follow us on social at Black Lab Organics or visit our website, blacklaborganics.com. Use discount code CAT10 to get 10% off your next order. Crazy about fights? The Fight Bananas podcast is all fight news and everything fight related. Follow them on social at Fight Bananas Official. You can also tune in on YouTube, all podcast platforms, and iHeartRadio. I train about 5 to 6 days a week, and as a fighter, I understand the importance of recovery. Fusion CBD products always has my back. I use their CBD oil every morning in my coffee and their CBD balms after trainings and before bed. And just like that, I feel brand new, ready to take on the next day. Follow them on social at Fusion CBD Products or visit their site fusioncbdproducts.com. New Dimensions Wellness Studio is a premium health, wellness, and performance center that combines cutting-edge technology with ancient wisdom. Every visit I make to New Dimensions, I leave feeling like a brand new woman. Whether you're an athlete that wants to excel in performance, undergoing rehab from an injury, or just want to take care of yourself, they will guide you to all your needs. Follow them on social at nd_wellness or visit their site mynewdimension.com. Just Blaze Clothing is South Florida's #1 source of clothing for the cannabis community. They sell all types of apparel, accessories, and rolling trays, perfect for any stoner dude or stoner babe. Check them out on social at Just Blaze Clothing or on their website justblazeclothing.com. Use discount code CAT10 to get 10% off your next order. The law offices of Daniel Martinez has got your back. Daniel Martinez is a criminal defense attorney who fights in court and in the cage. Shut up and lawyer up with the law offices of Daniel Martinez. Follow them on social at martinez.law.321 or their website martinez.law. Never stop, never quit. Support local fighters with Team Reaper. Team Reaper creates personal fight apparel just so fighters can make profit. I have my own fight apparel you can purchase on the website reaper1.co. You can also follow them on social at Team Reaper1. By purchasing my shirt, you will not only be supporting me, you will also be supporting this podcast, other fighters, and Rue Camp Champs, a youth crime prevention organization in my hometown, Orlando, Florida. Rue Camp Champs' mission is to get youth off of the streets and teach them martial arts. You can also donate to Rue Camp Champs at kidsmma.org.
And the hemoglobin.
Oh, big shot, spinning back fist by right hand. And
That's
she
wow.
wrote. That's a wrap, son. Cat.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kat Nelson Show. Today, I am joined by Talie Payne. Talie Payne is a mixed martial artist. She's a multi-talented, multi-skilled woman, and she just made her pro debut back in July as an Invicta flyweight. How are you doing today?
Great. Thank you for having me on. I'm so happy David got us connected.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. He's such a cool dude, and I love your little segment that you're getting started on there, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I know that you're the type of person that likes routine, which is a good thing. But I'm curious, how did 2020 turn out for you then? Because we were the world was shocked. We were thrown off our routine pretty much. So did 2020 turn out as kind of maybe a blessing in disguise, or was it the worst year ever for you? Or how was 2020 for you?
I think like with everybody else, 2020 is a year maybe we somewhat want to forget. But there were so many good things that came out of it. You know, the connections I made, honestly, just being able to get signed with Invicta. I think that literally made the entire year, you know, whatever
Right.
that kind of made up for it, because that was a goal of mine, just to get signed by a promotion, kind of get some stability, you know, make my do. And I did it, you know, even if I didn't necessarily get the outcome I was hoping for, I still was able to go out there, put on a show, and just kind of got me straight back to working and lit that fire straight under me again. So it was a rough year, definitely not being able to be in our routines and all that kind of stuff, but it ended up working out pretty well. Like I said, it led to some really, really amazing opportunities. So I'm actually very grateful for 2020.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of people around me as well feel like they've evolved because of 2020, just because it's pushed us in different ways, and it's made us perceive the world differently now because of being off routine and all that. So that's great. Congratulations on that. And I'm looking forward to your feature in Invicta and possibly the UFC. I know that you had anger issues as a kid, which is funny because I did too. And is that something that drove you towards wanting to start martial arts
Well,
competing?
it's funny because most of the women I've talked to, I think all of us have that crazy side to us.
Yeah.
Or do what we do. To be a professional fighter, you got to have some crazy in there.
Right.
I'm kind of glad my parents did that for me. It was a little bit to control the anger issues, but also some self-defense. I grew up in
Yeah.
an area that I had problems growing up. And so it was kind of like, well, why not learn how to protect myself just in case? But then it ended
Right.
up being a blessing in disguise. It became my therapy, and I just fell in love with it so much. And I'm sure you're similar, and a lot of these girls, once we kind of find that outlet, it just changed,
Mm-hmm.
and we become obsessed about it and just love it so much that it really helps us grow as an individual too. I still have my issues. I'm a little bit of a roller coaster, or a big
Of
roller.
course. Yeah.
Having martial arts, being able to do what I do and to do it every single day as my career has really, really just helped change things. And, kind of very grateful my mom was like, okay, you're too crazy. I need you to go handle, go for a run, go punch the bag. It ended up working
Right.
for me. So I'm very grateful for it.
Right. Yeah. So when I first started, it was more like a hobby, but
Yeah.
then I understood that this is a great channel of negative energy and anger. And I look at it as an art now, as another way to express myself, and I love it. So that's awesome to hear that you can get that from it too. So I know you started competing at 15, which is really young, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Similar to you, kind of just started as a hobby.
Right. And you did what art did you start off with?
So pretty much my whole life I was involved. I was like the artsy fartsy kid in school. I did show choir, I did performance plays, played the cello in an orchestra. So I was
Right. Nice.
arts, but the other side of arts. And then
Hmm.
being able to go to a Muay Thai school that was actually a pretty traditional Muay Thai school, I learned, like you said, it's an art in itself. And I just kind of
Hmm.
love with it. And the dance that I did, my ballet, translated so well for me, picking up combos, learning about my body,
Right.
balance, and all that. So it was a weird dynamic. I would go to my ballet classes, or I would do cheer and just have bruises or a black eye, and then go
Yeah.
down in Mexico the next weekend. So it was a crazy dynamic that I grew up with, but
Hmm.
I loved having the best of both worlds.
Right. So you were doing all those sports and activities at once?
Yeah, it pretty much was all middle school, high school. Started martial arts in middle school.
Hmm.
Grown up doing the dance and cello, and
Hmm.
I think it was pretty much towards the end of high school. Again, I was still involved in show choir, all this, but after high school was when I really realized I could make a career out of this. And it was still in the beginning stages. There were some women in this sport in the MMA world, kind of the Gina Caranos.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I was still very put off by it. MMA, of course, it's in the beginning stage. It was a lot like cockfighting. People are like,
Yeah.
"What are you guys doing?" I would try it, but never actually imagined I would fight it. Um,
Right.
it was a couple years after I graduated, I had some conversations with people and I was like, look, I've been doing this so many years already. I've taken the damage. I've put my time in. Why not try and pursue it? See what comes out of it, you know?
Right, and you took that step to go pro and actually get paid for it.
Yeah. That
So,
and not just being able to fight, the fact that it's led me to these other opportunities, like being able to meet David with Fighting Bananas and commentating.
right.
This is something I've done my whole life. So even if I can't fight, being involved in the martial arts world, whether it's interviewing, commentating, whatever it may be, I think that was just a blessing in disguise as well.
Right, right. Yeah. You mentioned that you had fights at 15 at that age, and I feel like it's harder to find youth fights these days. So how were those was it sanctioned, or were they just like kind of scraps?
A lot of them were what we kind of call smokers, the backyard,
Right.
literally walking in the dirt. It was in a, cave people's backyards, walking in the dirt to go into these places. So I've done the big shows, big sanctions.
Yeah.
I've done the nitty gritty, down in Mexico in a club that they kind of spread and put a cage in it. I've kind of done it all, which was really cool, and at a young age, even though I was doing Muay Thai again, it wasn't very popular. So there weren't a lot of girls doing it. And I was always a little bit heavier, even though I
Right.
was 16, think I would fight sometimes at like 145 or something. So my only option was actually to fight women. So at a young age, I was fighting grown women and, just had my headgear on and
Wow.
just kind of thrown into this sport. And I had to be a tough cookie at a very young age.
That's really cool though, and it's cool to know that you've come from fighting in the dirt to, fighting for Invicta now. So that's awesome that you've made this journey and you're here now.
No, it's quite an accomplishment. Right before I made the announcement that I was signed with Invicta, I was able to go through all my pictures, finding, from a young age in my Muay Thai shorts and this and that. And it was really cool to think like, look, I have done so much with this. This has been a part of my life. Now, half my life, I've been doing martial arts. And the fact that, like I said, I was able to get to that big show, even if I was to never fight again, that is such a big accomplishment to me to be able to,
Right.
I set a goal, I accomplished that goal, and now whatever else happens is just, additive. So I love it.
Right. Right. Hell yeah. So, I know that obviously we love to fight, we love to promote um, ourselves as fighters, as women or as female fighters as well. How important do you think that is, like emphasizing yourself and putting yourself out there and getting exposure?
It's a very interesting subject because I've had the people, you have both sides of it. You have the people that support it and they're like, yeah, girl fighters, hot girl fighters, everybody loves it. But then you also have the other side where people kind of hate on you, or they hate on like the Valerie Laredos and stuff like that because, they look good and they can
Right.
fight doing the what we call kind of Instagram model stuff, or Instagram
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah.
So I like to show people, you know what, this is a business. No matter
Hmm.
what, we are a brand. And
Right.
sometimes certain things sell more than other things. And I think,
Mhm.
I have a lot of friends. If you can talk in front of a camera, if you can take beautiful pictures, why not take some good pictures, show off that hard work that you've done with muscles, and then go on and put on a show. I think, it's
Right.
rare to find that. Triple threat is what we call in the show choir kind of business side to it. It's a
Hmm.
triple threat. So to be able to fight, put on a show, look good, speak well, I think that's very rare. And
Right.
I'm all about supporting the women. As much as we can bring up other women in this sport, we have to, because we are such a small pool compared to
Right.
everyone else in this world. So obviously, it's good to create the drama for fights and stuff like that. But at the same time, it comes down to, this is a business. You are an opponent. That's all it is. And I am
Right.
perfectly being friends after the fact as well, because there are so few of us and that really understand each other as well, I think, as women fighters.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why I started the podcast too, to bring a lot of you girls on here and just pretty much promote yourselves and have people get to know you. And I also think been given technology and social media, and why not use it? Like, we are a brand, and not just women. Like, I think about like Ryan Garcia, for example. Like, he's like the pretty boy of boxing, but he knocks people out too.
He's doing something right. You can hate on him, but at the same time,
Right.
he's creating his own business, his brand. And so social media can work in your favor if you know how to play the game.
Right. Right. That's awesome. I want to talk about, I heard in an interview you talking about Jackson Wink. You still train there?
Yeah, still at Jackson's. I'll probably be heading to a class this evening as well.
Okay, awesome. So I know that so you started there when Holly Holm was actually in fight camp for the Ronda Rousey fight, correct?
I think it was actually, so I got there right after the Ronda Rousey fight. I've only been about 2 years now, but I was able to be there when she was getting ready for the Amanda Nunes fight.
Okay. How was the energy in the gym during that fight camp?
It's intense. Especially,
right, yeah.
I think at that point, I think Michelle Watterson was also getting ready for a fight. I don't know if that was around the same time as John Jones, but you have those fighters in the gym. They're in fight camps.
Right.
It's incredible to see because they are real people. They go through real, and so being a small fighter myself, we have the doubts and the worry, or the hard training sessions, the sparring sessions you're maybe not proud of. But then to see someone on Holly's level, on Michelle's level, on John Jones's level, to see them in the gym, working their butts off, having days that are tough, it could be, as women, we're emotional, you can, those days, sometimes if it was a rough sparring session, you can see them get emotional. You can feel that energy. So I think it's really beneficial, and it's been so amazing as young fighters kind of coming up in this world to see that, and honestly to be training alongside it as well. It's like, okay, she's a normal person. They're all normal people just like us. We're all kind of in this together, grinding away, blood, tears, all of it. So it's really cool to see.
Right. Yeah, I had to ask because I mean, I can only imagine like it would probably be really inspiring and motivating to be in there. I go to a gym where we have just a lot of up and comers and people starting out in the UFC. Yeah. So we're all just on this grind. But John Jones, Holly Holm, like Michelle Watterson, they're all very seasoned fighters. And I was just curious to like how things were in the gym when they're in fight camp, or in general. Like, I'm sure they're intense.
Well, and it is like that. It's funny because you would think maybe, it's a little bit different with them being a bit more seasoned, but honestly, it's the same grind as everyone else. Their rounds, like I said, blood, sweat, and tears.
Right.
Sweat and tears, from all of us, the women. Seeing John in there, it's kind of cool. I would see him. He trains usually in the evenings, when it's not a lot of people at the gym, kind of around the time he fights at night. So I would go there sometimes at like 10 o'clock at night, get a last run in, and to see them in the ring, it's pretty crazy because the gym is quiet, black. The light is on in the main cage, and all his coaches are sitting around, and they're just working, and it's one after the other. And it literally is so inspiring because gosh, like, you know, all this hard work will pay off one day. And to be able to do that, I think that's the ultimate goal for all of us. So it is definitely
Right.
a watch.
Right. That's so cool. I talk a lot about not just taking care of yourself, your physique in this sport, but also your mentality and your mindset. So what are some things that you do to physically take care of yourself? You know, if you use any products or cryotherapy or anything, and what are some things that you do to take care of your mind?
I definitely should look into your CBD stuff.
Yeah.
Done all the way. Don't do it as much as I should, but I've been very lucky, knock on wood, not to have a lot of injuries, but I have had injuries before, and I can say the saving grace of it is honestly physical therapy. You know, the physical
Right.
therapy at Jackson's, we're so blessed because right upstairs we have some elite, you know, physical therapists specifically for fighters.
Nice.
So that was like a big thing for me. And I don't think enough fighters, especially these youngins, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
I've been doing this a while, but these youngins don't roll out or stretch or their body. Those little things will add up, you know. You
Right.
can afford physical therapy, doing the rolling, doing the stretching, yoga, whatever it may be, to combat that combative side that we do to our body so much. It's so important, you know, the baths, ice baths, hot baths,
Right.
therapy. You know, I'm all about the science and experimenting, and I'll do it all. You know, I love trying new things, finding out what works.
Right.
Infrared sauna that I love to use, you know, and the mental part I think has always been the biggest struggle for me. 100%. I started this at a young age. I
Mm-hmm.
was a teenage girl with a lot of, you know, insecurities and issues and all this. Um,
Right.
being in a sport that focuses on weight and numbers
Gotcha. Yeah.
helped that issue. You know, it
Right.
definitely progressed it, I think, in the opposite way that I would have hoped being a teenager. Um,
Right.
so I wish I could have embraced the nutritional side of it a little bit more when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but honestly, within the last year, I actually started working with mental coach, and
Okay.
that
Nice.
really really progressed things for me. You know, I had seen, you know, I followed some Instagrams like wrestling mindset, you know, and combat mindset, all that kind of stuff. I was
Mm-hmm.
really interested in it. And I finally reached out and was like, look, because I had seen some fighters in California working with this specific mind coach, Mindset
Mm-hmm.
Mike, Instagram, all about it.
Okay.
And
Mine said Mike.
he's a like a wrestling coach, but is also a mindset coach.
Okay.
It really helped things out. You know, it's still a progression. We are working every single day at it. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm very grateful to be working with him because he's really changing things up. And this is a sport where if your mental game is not as on top as your physical game,
Right.
you're not going to have the success that you want to have the success. So like you said, it's mental, just if not more than physical.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, training the mind, just like everything else, takes time and practice that you have to put towards it. And I think not just for fighting, but for everyone, I think being able to be mindful and practicing something that I guess like something in self-care
Yeah.
um, would help everybody, I think. So that's awesome that you do all of that and you have your mental coach now and it's working out for you. One more thing before we log off, Talie's take. Tell us about that.
Again, David, love you so much. This
Yes, he's awesome.
I ended up I reached out to Island Fights and David to do commentating at Island Fights
Yeah,
in Florida. My girlfriend was going out there to fight for the belt, and I was
nice.
I'm not going to be in the corner, but why not try this again? Try a new aspect of being involved without taking the damage to my brain.
Right.
So I reached out to David and Dean were like, yeah, why not? And we ended up having a blast. Like, it was just so natural, so smooth, great individual to work with. And,
Mm-hmm.
that was right up in December of 2020. So right in the new year, he reached out to me and he was like, hey, I had such a great time working with you. You have a lot of talent as well as, in and outside of the ring. So why not take advantage of that? And
Right.
so thankful that he kind of gave me this opportunity to play around with having my little Talie's take on the podcast, and he was like, whatever you want to do, you want to do a minute, you want to do longer, have at it, and just to be able to give that, I was given that, creative flexibility and freedom. It was really cool, and I was like, this is an opportunity that I can't pass up. I love doing
Right.
everything that you do, all that kind of stuff. I think it's so cool. And I saw that he had partnered with you, and I
Mm-hmm.
love that you do this for the women, or not necessarily for us women, but, in support
Mostly.
and have on there, and you kind of setting the tone for all of us women, if they want to get into podcasting or interviewing, it's really
Right.
easy. And so I'm so grateful David gave me a minute of his podcast. That's all I needed. I told him I'll talk forever. But he
Yeah.
and it was really cool to be able to start breaking down fights, and it kind of helps with my commentating as well. As
Mm-hmm.
fighters, that's what we do in fights. We'll watch UFC fights, break down the
Mm-hmm.
fight, what we think's going to happen and all this. And I thought it would be really cool, similar to you, to maybe focus a little bit more on the women.
Yeah.
On Instagram, you can see people talking about, like the last one, everyone's talking about McGregor versus Poirier and stuff. But we have
Right.
great girl fights, the JoJo
Mm-hmm.
Collinswood fight. And I'm excited about like Paige's fight coming up, her boxing fight. So kind of want, I'll still do some of the men's fights, but I kind of like the aspect of doing the women's fights and a woman fighter talking about the women, the women fights, same as a woman fighter interviewing and doing a podcast with women fighters. I just think it's pretty awesome.
Right. Yeah. He pretty much did the same thing with me and told me do whatever you want with it. And I was like, all right. And now we're here, and I'm pretty sure there are so many other things that are gonna open up to you because of your little minutes. But I think the minute is great.
Yeah.
And I think that, like you said, it's going to help you with commentating and just speaking in front of the camera. And then it's also related to MMA, which is your passion and what you do with your life. And you're also a female fighter. So that's awesome. What's in the future for you? Do you have anything coming up soon?
I actually talked to the boss lady a couple days ago. She actually said she has some really good stuff in store for all of us women with Invicta. So I'm actually very excited about that. I'm thinking they're going to start being able to put shows on again March on,
Okay.
hopefully April, as soon as they can. I know that she said that they were going to start putting some shows on. But in the meantime, I've reached out to Icon. I would totally do fight on Icon. Very lucky with Invicta because I have an open contract. So it's one of those things
Okay.
that some of us just want to stay active, and they're in
Right.
support of that. So whatever promotions I can get on, I'll get on and would love to rock it. And I actually just signed up for IBJJF tournament, my first
Cool.
in the gi, which I'm really excited about because I've been working on my jujitsu. So that's
Nice.
focus right now, getting ready for a jujitsu camp. I've never done it, never been to a tournament. So I'm actually really excited about that. And I think it'll be fun, and we'll see how it goes. Little white belt going to the tournament.
Awesome. Well, good luck, and I hope you find something by March, an MMA fight. Do you want to shout anybody out?
Well, thank you again so much, Kat, for having me on here, and David for connecting us.
Yeah, no problem.
Sponsor HKA has just been so supportive of us. And Valley Tudo, they know I love them so much. They've been with me from the beginning, and anything I can do for them, I would love to repay them. You know, it just means so much to have that support, you know, from everyone just rocking it. From, like I said, the little shows to the big shows, they just wanted support. So I'm so grateful for all of those people involved. Definitely.
Right, awesome. Go ahead and after this, send me their social media pages or links, and I'll plug it in under the video when it's on YouTube. And where can we find you on social media? I've had your name down here the whole time, but where else can we find you?
Perfect. Big on Instagram at Talie Payne, TALIE.Payne. But also on Twitter as well. Same thing, Talie Payne. Just search Talie Payne.
Cool.
I'll up and yeah, all aboard the Payne train. Let's go.
All right, everyone, you heard the boss lady, Talie Payne. Go follow her. Thank you so much for your time, Talie, and I hope you have a good training session tonight, and I hope you have a good night in general. So,
Thank you so much. You as well.
no problem. Thank you so much, and good luck to you in the future.
Yeah, take care.
Bye.